Loving yourself is not always easy. Sometimes it feels downright impossible. You wake up with self-doubt, past mistakes haunting you, and a voice inside that's louder than anyone else telling you you're not good enough. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Love isn't always a feeling that comes naturally. Sometimes you have to force it. Yes, force yourself to love yourself. Because if you don't, who else will? The world will keep spinning, life will keep testing you, and if you don't stand up and decide right now to treat yourself with kindness, respect, and fierce love, you'll always fall short of the life you deserve. So, today, I'm inviting you to step up, to take the wheel, to force yourself, whether you feel like it or not, to love yourself fiercely and unapologetically. This is not about waiting for motivation or perfect circumstances. It's about making a choice. Because love isn't just a feeling, it's a commitment, an action, and a daily decision. And I'm going to give you powerful ways to do exactly that. Start small, but start now. You don't have to wait for a grand, sweeping feeling of love to pour over you all at once. That kind of perfect, overwhelming emotion rarely just shows up uninvited. Instead, the real power lies in the small things. The tiny actions that feel almost silly at first but build momentum like a snowball rolling downhill. Looking in the mirror and saying one kind thing to yourself, that's your starting line. Maybe it's as simple as, "You showed up today," or "Your smile is beautiful." It doesn't have to be earth-shattering. It has to be honest and consistent. Because this tiny habit is planting a seed in your brain, signaling that you deserve kindness. You might feel awkward or fake at first, and that's exactly why you have to force yourself to do it anyway. Every time you repeat a kind phrase, your brain rewires itself. Neural pathways that were once dedicated to self-criticism begin to get overshadowed by these new pathways of acceptance and appreciation. Science proves that repetition changes the wiring of the brain. This is how real transformation starts step by step. The trick is to show up every day, no exceptions. Even on the days when you wake up feeling defeated, even when the inner critic is loudest, the consistency of small acts of self-kindness adds up. It chips away at the wall of self-doubt and negativity you've been carrying around. You're retraining your brain to notice your strengths instead of just your failures. And when you force yourself to say something positive to yourself first thing in the morning, you're setting the tone for the entire day. You're telling yourself loud and clear, "I am worthy of love. I am worthy of respect." This is a muscle that needs exercising. The more you practice this small habit, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, those kind words won't feel forced, they'll start to feel genuine. And that's when your relationship with yourself starts to shift in a fundamental way. It's also important to note that starting small creates a sense of momentum. Momentum is what keeps you going on the hard days. It's the difference between giving up and pushing through. When you force yourself to begin, even if it's with one tiny compliment, you're creating a force that propels you forward. This is how you take back control from self-hatred and negativity. You reclaim your narrative. You become the author of your story rather than a victim to the voices that try to tear you down. Starting small is a radical act because it demands your attention and your commitment. It asks you to pause, look at yourself with kindness, and say, "I'm here. I'm enough." When you begin now, you don't wait for the perfect moment or perfect feeling. You create your own perfect moment by simply starting. And that action is a statement, it's a declaration that you refuse to wait any longer for love to find you. You are forcing yourself to find it within. And that is the foundation for everything else. The power to love yourself doesn't come from grand gestures or perfect feelings. It comes from showing up every single day, even when it's hard, and starting small with kindness. Set boundaries and protect your energy. Loving yourself means protecting what's most precious, your time, your energy, and your mental space. You have to get ruthless about this. Because every yes you give when you want to say no chips away at your self-respect. Every time you let someone drain your energy, you're telling yourself that you don't matter as much as they do. Forcing yourself to set boundaries is one of the most powerful and loving things you can do. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out, they're about protecting your ability to show up as your best self. They create a buffer that keeps toxic influences at bay and ensures you're not running on empty. You might feel guilty the first few times you say no. That's normal. The guilt is your brain's way of resisting change. It's used to putting others first, to bending over backward to avoid conflict or disappointing people. But you have to force yourself through that discomfort because your well-being depends on it. Setting boundaries is about saying, this is what I need to be okay. It's about prioritizing your health and happiness. Without boundaries, you become a target for burnout, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. Protecting your energy means you become more selective about who and what you allow into your life. You stop tolerating negativity disguised as helpful advice. You refuse to absorb other people's drama like it's your own. You take control over your emotional climate. This requires courage. Because when you start enforcing boundaries, some people will push back. They might accuse you of being selfish or distant. But here's the truth. The strongest relationships thrive on respect for boundaries. If someone doesn't respect your limits, that's on them, not you. You force yourself to honor your boundaries by reminding yourself that self-love is not negotiable. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity. When you guard your time and energy fiercely, you are saying, I am worthy of respect and peace. This also means creating routines and environments that nurture you rather than drain you. It might mean carving out alone time to recharge. It might mean limiting social media to protect your mental health. It might mean surrounding yourself with people who lift you up instead of tear you down. When you protect your energy, you create space for self-love to grow. You give yourself permission to prioritize your needs. And that's how you build resilience against stress, criticism, and the daily grind. So, force yourself to say no more often. Force yourself to walk away from situations that don't serve your highest good. Force yourself to create a life where your peace is sacred. Because loving yourself means putting yourself first, not last. And that fierce protection of your energy is the foundation of lasting self-respect and love. Stop waiting to feel ready. You're never going to feel ready to love yourself perfectly. The myth is that love comes naturally, fully formed, like flipping a switch. The reality is far messier and more complicated. Sometimes you have to show up before you're ready. You have to act first and trust that the feelings will come later. Waiting to feel ready is a trap. It's a way to postpone your self-love indefinitely. You tell yourself, I love myself when I'm thinner, or I love myself after I get that promotion, or I love myself once I forgive myself. But those moments might never arrive exactly how you imagine them. That's why you have to force yourself. Force yourself to act like you love yourself now, even when you don't believe it. Do the things a person who loves themselves would do. Speak to yourself like you're your own best friend. Treat yourself with kindness, care, and respect. This is the essence of bravery. Showing up before you feel ready means you're choosing courage over comfort. You're deciding that your growth and healing are more important than your fears or doubts. When you force yourself to love yourself, even when it feels impossible, you are rewiring your brain. Your actions signal to your mind and body that you deserve love and care. Over time, your feelings align with your behaviors. There's no perfect timing for self-love. The perfect time is now, right this second. No matter where you are in your journey, no matter how broken or tired you feel, you can choose love right now. Sometimes, love looks like a tough decision to stop beating yourself up. Sometimes, it's a choice to put yourself first even when it feels uncomfortable. Sometimes, it's setting a boundary, or starting a new habit, or simply taking a deep breath and telling yourself you matter. You force yourself because love is not about waiting for permission or external validation. It's about taking control of your narrative and deciding that you deserve better. This willingness to act before you feel ready breaks the cycle of procrastination, self-doubt, and shame. It creates momentum. It lights a fire inside you that can't be put out. So, stop waiting, stop hesitating. Force yourself to take that step, however small, toward loving yourself today. Because the only way forward is through action. Celebrate your progress, not perfection. Perfection is a myth. It's a trap set to keep you stuck in the same place, waiting for impossible standards. Loving yourself doesn't mean you become flawless overnight. It means showing up consistently even when you mess up. It means celebrating your progress, not punishing yourself for not being perfect. Force yourself to notice every small victory along the way. That moment when you chose kindness over criticism. That time you said no to something draining. That breath you took before reacting in anger. These are wins worth celebrating. When you celebrate progress, you reinforce positive behavior. Your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical motivating you to keep going. This creates a feedback loop of growth and confidence. Instead of focusing on what you haven't done or how far you have to go, shift your attention to how far you've come. You're building new habits, new ways of thinking, and new ways of treating yourself. That's huge. Every step forward is proof that you're capable of change. Proof that you are growing into a person who loves themselves more each day. Force yourself to be patient. Growth is not linear. Some days will be easier, some harder. Celebrate the ups and forgive the downs. The moment you stop chasing perfection is the moment self-love can truly flourish. When you embrace progress, you give yourself permission to be human, to learn, to stumble, to rise. So, be your own biggest fan. Cheer yourself on relentlessly. Write down your wins. Reflect on your journey. Celebrate the courage it takes to keep going. This celebration creates a foundation of confidence and hope that propels you forward. It's the fuel that powers your transformation. Remember, self-love is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about the steady accumulation of small victories that build your strength and resilience. Be your own biggest cheerleader. If you want to love yourself, you have to start rooting for yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. Too often, we let the voices of others, critics, doubters, or even well-meaning people drown out our own inner support. But self-love means becoming your own loudest, most passionate cheerleader. Force yourself to show up with enthusiasm and belief in your own potential. When doubt creeps in, respond with fierce encouragement. When you mess up, remind yourself that mistakes are part of growth, not proof of failure. Write love notes to yourself. Leave reminders that you are worthy, capable, and enough. Speak affirmations out loud, even if you don't believe them yet. The act of voicing support rewires your brain to believe in you. Being your own cheerleader means choosing to see your strengths instead of obsessing over your flaws. It means celebrating your uniqueness and your journey. It means refusing to let negativity define your self-worth. You have to be relentless in your self-support. When external validation falls short, and it will, your self-love must be unshakable. You can't depend on others to fill your cup. You must be the source of your own love and strength. This isn't about arrogance or ego, it's about survival and thriving. It's about treating yourself with the kindness and respect you freely give to those you love. Force yourself to cultivate this inner voice of support. Surround yourself with reminders of your value. Create rituals that boost your confidence and remind you that you matter. The more you cheer for yourself, the stronger your self-love grows. You build resilience against doubt, criticism, and setbacks. You become unstoppable. Your inner cheerleader keeps you accountable, motivated, and hopeful. It fuels your journey of transformation and self-acceptance. So stand up for yourself, root for yourself, love yourself fiercely and without apology. Because when you are your own biggest cheerleader, you become unstoppable. Here's the truth you need to hear. Loving yourself won't always feel easy, natural, or comfortable. In fact, it often feels like a battle, a fight against years of doubt, criticism, and neglect. But here's what I want you to take away. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment or for love to magically appear inside you. You have the power right now to force yourself to start, to set boundaries, to act before you feel ready, to celebrate every small step, and to become your own fiercest cheerleader. Self-love isn't a feeling that happens to you, it's a choice you make every single day. It's a commitment to yourself, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, and even when the world around you tries to convince you otherwise. When you force yourself to love yourself, you're not just surviving, you're reclaiming your power, rewriting your story, and building a life that honors who you truly are. So don't wait. Don't hesitate. Start now. Because the most powerful act of love you can ever give is the love you give yourself. And once you force yourself to love yourself, nothing, and I mean nothing, can stop you.